What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Sir Splash. I hope everyone's doing well. Obviously, quarantine's been an issue. Anyways, one of the projects I'm working on, trying to grow the channel, make sure you hit the like button, share my content. We're steadily growing. One of the things I'm doing, is expanding my research constantly. I've assembled a team, a few buddies of mine. We've been nonstop pouring through Marvel Comics, establishing certain ideas, certain principles that'll help solidify the cosmology as far as how powerful it is and all the characters within it. And as this, scaling has been occurring, I noticed there's a lot of things with the Phoenix Force I initially scaled wrong or had misconceptions about, and that the Phoenix Force is wildly more powerful than I originally gave it credit for. So, with that being said, this video is dedicated to the power of the Phoenix Force and what else comes with it. For example, the different avatars of the Phoenix Force. And I'll explain each feat in detail. I'll do my best to, as I talk about it, show you these particular scans as I refer to them, as well as if I don't mention the actual comic, like what issue it is in the video. If I fail to do that, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I'm more than happy to provide which comic it is in order for you to investigate yourself. With that being said, we're going to go over several instances of the Phoenix Force and how powerful they are. So in the original Claremont run, we understood that Dark Phoenix became a thing. That is, Jean Grey merged with the Phoenix, and she believed herself she got manipulated by, I believe, the Hellfire Club. They made her believe she was like the Black Queen, White Queen, whatever it was. Basically turned her evil, corrupted both her and the force she was using. Now, a battle occurred in which the Dark Phoenix, which, by the way, is not even the strongest of the avatars, but the Dark Phoenix, Jean Grey, waged war against Professor X. This battle in itself was felt across and waged across, quote, simultaneously on all of the infinite planes of existence. Crazy part about this is, while yes, they were going at it, there was a part of the subconsciousness of Jean Grey trying to assist Xavier in defeating her. Because what was going on really wasn't the real her, and she loved Professor Xavier. As the battle was waging, it's actually one of the more heart-wrenching moments in comics. Professor Xavier's crying because he knows he's the only one that can take down his student, but doing so, he understands the burden of the pain for her because she'll die, and for him because he loves her like a daughter. This feat alone would be high hyperversal, and I'll explain why that in itself is crazy, because it's not nearly what the power of Phoenix Force actually is. In some of the Marvel guidebooks, especially the X-Men guidebooks, statements on the Phoenix Force itself proclaim that it is born between the voids of state of being and helps regrow creation after it's destroyed. It has to do with the life and death of creation, as well as it states that the Phoenix Force is an immortal, indestructible, immutable manifestation of the prime universal force of life, derived from the psyches of all living beings across every plane of existence. It is actually hard, and it states in this guidebook, it's hard for the Phoenix Force to actually manifest itself on the physical plane. That is, make itself known to the mortal realms. And another instance, the Phoenix Force is referred to as, quote, the Phoenix is not merely a force of nature, but an improbable hybrid of life and death, of love and destruction. It is perhaps the most transformative power the universe has ever seen, and thus, throughout the ages, a constant conundrum for the universe's protectors. Now, before we get idiots in the comment section said, oh, this is just universal. No, when they kind of refer to universal, they're referring to universal fundamental forces, that is, stuff that governs reality. And they are saying Phoenix Force is one of the strongest forces that have to do with the fundamental roots of reality itself. Things like eternity, death, infinity, all of that. And what is being demonstrated to us is that the Phoenix Force in itself is rebirth of creation, death, and then the rebirth of a new creation. I will also explain more things that solidifies why it's not just universal, because I know there's a bunch of idiots out there. Oh, Splash, that's just, I hate those people. They also think DC's strongest ever, so I don't like when people take one verse, prop it up based on what they read, and then read similar stuff in a different verse and dismiss it. You got to be consistent, and that's what I'm striving to do. I'm striving to be consistent with my scaling of each. I'm not saying Marvel's nearly as strong as DC. I'm saying I don't think a lot of people give it credit for how strong it is. Now, in issue 52 of Excalibur, Xavier states that a small percentage of the Phoenix Force could actually destroy him. This is a serious upscale from what we prior saw, because we saw him take on Phoenix Force, Dark Phoenix, Jean Grey, and able to hold his own in a battle that waged across simultaneously every plane of reality. And he's stating just a small portion of this power is capable of easily destroying him, which kind of tells us that's even a smaller fraction of power that Dark Phoenix logically has, because he's able to contend with that. Phoenix Force in Mighty Thor issue 19 states that it must present itself in a way for humans to comprehend. Its true form is actually beyond human comprehension. That is, we can conceptualize what the Phoenix Force is. We can, ponder the idea of something abstract, but we cannot actually comprehend what it actually is. The conversation goes like this. I'm speaking to the Phoenix right now, I assume. Phoenix Force replies, in a way. The only way your tiny human brain will allow you to comprehend. And then the Phoenix Force goes on to say, the Phoenix does no one's bidding, not even the gods, just as no power in all the heavens can conjure me forth if I do not wish to be conjured. I am a force of universal nature, Jane Foster. I burn because I am. So in this, it's really Phoenix Force telling Jane Foster that not even the gods can control the Phoenix Force if it so chooses not to be controlled. And it does later in the run state that it can burn even the gods, which is important for later videos. But it actually has to project itself to us in a way that we can comprehend, because we ourselves cannot comprehend any the actual concept of the Phoenix Force. The Phoenix Avatar, keyword avatar, projected simultaneously across every plane of existence one time in the comics. It was said, at the moment of alignment, Pharaon called on the Phoenix Avatar to project the essence of the tower through the multiverse, so that it existed on every plane of reality simultaneously, like a cosmic linchpin. Phoenix, in a later comic, is stated to be beyond reality and manifests in a way only so that the humans can comprehend. This is when the character is dying, and the character asks, who is this voice like music in my mind? What are you? And Phoenix Force says, the sum and substance of life and hopes and dreams. All that is known to me. I have known you, Jean Grey, from the moment of your conception, as have known the universe. Later, it goes on to say, my consciousness, my form, and its ability to communicate on this plane of existence derive from you. They provide an awareness of your dominant emotions and memories. So, Jean Grey accuses the Phoenix Force of being a figment of the imagination. Phoenix Force says, you jest. Yet what is imagination, save the ability to conceive of that which is beyond reality? You are human, Jean Grey. I am of creation. So what's basically going on here is that she accused him, she's joking about oh, well, you're the abstract, and you're beyond concepts, you're beyond the concepts mortals have, you're beyond the mortal planes, you would be beyond dimensions, beyond existence itself, you are something that would exist in the abstract, you are of the beyond. And the Phoenix Force says, You might think that's a joke, but it's actually true. You can only conceive of the idea of me. You can't actually comprehend me because I'm beyond you. In other comics, Phoenix Force is referred to as rebirth itself, as in the consumption of creation, and the remake of creation is the Phoenix Force. And it is called life itself in other issues. Phoenix can consume creation, even gods themselves, and birth it anew. Also, in the Dark Phoenix run, and when they're talking to the Shi'ar Empire, when they bring up the Nexus of Realities, which is every reality, every plane of existence within itself, and the destruction of every plane of existence, so it would be high hyperversal destruction. It would actually, being able to do that, you should be outer versal. Xavier makes a note that Dark Phoenix scaled to that very idea of destroying all of creation, which is crazy. Creation in the White Hot Room, which is the heart of the Phoenix, it is considered the core of creation. All times and no times reside here. Now, in another comic book run, the Phoenix Force shows Jean Grey all possible realities, all possible ways of existence that she could have, and then it has a deep conversation with her about what move they should make. She said, "Don't you understand, Jean Grey? Together we can be gods. Then we can transcend this place." That is a word people always want when showing all the possible realities. It references transcending all of these possible realities. So yes, the idea of the Phoenix Force has to be outerversal. Now, moving on, there is also White Phoenix, which is important because it's supposed to be like the best iteration of an avatar of the Phoenix Force. It's stated in the run that all of the cosmos flow through her. She is also beyond death. She visits death itself, which states, you asked me where you were and what this place is. Consider it the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and end of all, where the physical universe merges with the domains of the spirit and imagination, and she's beyond that. She doesn't have a place there. So something that is the death of all things, the death of creation itself, she's beyond that because of her ties to the Phoenix Force and what she's doing. Also, all the characters before that threatened the abstract beings, the universal forces at work, actually usually just served death itself, and thus it didn't really bother the abstracts. They didn't care. They're just doing something, to appease one of the concepts that is on their level as far as being abstracts. However, it is stated that White Phoenix, when using almost the full power of the Phoenix Force, scares the abstracts and the balance of reality more than anything else seen before. So, that's in X-Men Forever issue 3, by the way. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Obviously, Phoenix Force, I used to think was just hyperversal, but it transcends that. It's beyond that. It's outerversal. It is a crazy amount of power in the Marvel Universe. One of the strongest things you can have in the Marvel Universe. And thus, I believe it's very underrated. Anyways, let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, and comment. It's been your boy Sir Splash, and stay tuned for more content coming soon as we build the channel. Anyway, peace.